let's get cracking then with our taxi competition, final one of the week, and indeed final one full stop. Got a new competition as of Monday. Thank you, Bert. Drop it off now, that's the idea. Oh, shut the door. Right, what have we got? Do we have a person in the cab tonight, or do we have a thing? We've got a thing. We've got a thing, honey. So we're looking for an object for the overall answer. What leads you to that object are the answers to these three questions. And if you are new to the game, you don't have to have a go at all three of them. You go for the one that you would like to. So if you like anagrams, then just have a go at the anagram. If you like the mystery tune, that's always very popular, just go for that. Or maybe you like the what am I, something very straightforward and ambiguous. You can go for that one instead. Starting off with tonight's anagram. Write this down, unscramble the letters, and it'll give you something else, whether it be a person, a place, a phrase, an expression, whatever. That's for you to find out. The anagram is scrapped lank capon. And I've done the same thing. Get it out. Scrapped lank capon. Spell the words for you. Scrapped. S-C-R-A-P-P-E-D. Lank. L-A-N-K. And capon, as in a big bird thing, C-A-P-O-N. Okay, so there's your anagram. Scrapped lank capon. That'll turn into something else. Number 2 is the mystery tune. I'm going to play you a little tiny snippet of a well-known song. We just need to know what the song is and the artist as well. That is important because, as I always say, the clue may be in the title of the song, it may be in the artist, okay? It can be either. So we need both. What song is this little clip from? And it can as always be somewhere at the beginning, the middle, or the end. It's literally just a clip. And I'm afraid that is all you're going to get. Do you know what that is? Really well-known song. I'll give you the contact numbers in just a second. And then finally for number 3, the what am I tonight? What I contain never changes. What is it? What I contain never changes. So there are your 3 questions.
Call BBC Radio Kent 08459 811111.
What do you reckon? Have a go at whichever one you like. Let's see if we can get some right answers here for the final taxi, and of course chance for you to win one of my bugs as well. The text is up and running. 07786 200 961. That's 07786 200 961. If there's another text number that you would normally use throughout the day, give that one the elbow. That's no good at all. You've got to use the number that I just gave you for this programme. And then the email, Paul Miller Show, that's all one word, Paul Miller Show at bbc.co.uk. So as always, I'll give them to you again in reverse order this time. Number 3 for the what am I? What I contain never changes. What am I? What I contain never changes. Think about that. It's not as difficult as it may seem. Number 2 is the mystery tune. We want to know what this is. Really, really well-known song that. We need title and artist. And then for number 1, the anagram, scrapped lank capon. S-C-R-A-P-P-E-D L-A-N-K-C-A-P-O-N. Scrapped lank capon. That'll turn into a person, a place, a phrase, an expression. You know, the usual sort of thing for an anagram. 18 minutes past 10. We never say no to a bit of extra on the Paul Miller Show. We're here right the way through until 1 on the BBC in the South. And it's our final taxi competition. Oh, yeah. So let's see what we can get some right answers here. A couple of mentions to do. They're always very, very welcome. First of all, Jodie's been in touch. Says, Paul, do me a favour. Can you please say hello to Simon for me? Tell him I love him very, very much indeed, and say that no matter how hard things get, I'll always be there for you. Oh, isn't that nice? I could shed a little tear. And also Colin, who describes himself as the good-looking boots trucker. Oh, yeah. He says, tell me, Paul, after this competition comes to an end tonight, what is Bert the cabbie going to do? After all, he can't live on your tips. So what do you reckon? Well, you know, I did see him down the old Labour Exchange the other day, but I think he'll probably find something to keep him going. Yeah, he's all right. right. He'll be all right, don't you worry. And also hi to Graham as well, who is in Liss. His birthday today. Happy birthday to you, Graham. Lots of love from Caroline, your wife, and also the two children, Emmeline and Paul. And they say looking forward to the weekend. Hope that you have a good one. Yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be a nice weekend as well. The old sun shining, so you can guarantee the old caravans will be a-wobbling down the road, as they do. Have you got it in for caravans again tonight, Mr. Miller? I have, indeed, yes. I encountered about 3 on my way into work this evening. It was a slow experience, as it usually is. But I'm hoping to get them all there tonight, and then it'll all be sorted, OK? So if you're thinking about going out in your caravan over the next couple of days, just get yourselves cracking, please. Get yourselves going, and then we can all just get on with it. OK, fine. 20 past 10, the lovely Jean is with us from Hove. Hello, Jean.
Hello there, Paul.
How are you?
Oh, all right, thank you.
Now then, are you ready for this mega heat wave?
Oh, yeah, I don't like it.
It's the wrong answer.
Not so early in the year.
It's only going to be 23 or 24.
Oh, is it? Oh.
But everyone's going on as though it's going to be, a heat wave.
OK, I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, I heard somebody earlier on chatting. I can't remember who it was. Or was it something I'd seen on the web? I can't remember. But somebody was saying about they're expecting there to be this huge exodus down to the coast again.
Oh, well, I can dangle my feet in the sea anyway.
Well, yeah, that's very true.
I live near the sea, so...
Do you go down for a little dangle every now and again, Jean, or not?
No.
You're not a dangler.
I can't cope with the stones.
No, that is the problem. No, I go along with that as well.
Yes.
No, we don't like those. Anyway, which one are you going for on the competition, my love?
The tune.
You think you know what this is? What do you reckon?
I think it's Cliff Richard's Congratulations.
Ooh, interesting. You're not alone with your thoughts, you know.
Oh, but I'm not right.
Well, we don't know yet. We have got Congratulations also being mentioned by Adam, who is in Staines, by Faith, who is in Dibdham, Pat, who is in Gosport, and also Joy, who is in Rye.
Oh.
Are you feeling positive?
Yes.
It's completely wrong.
Thank you, Paul.
Never mind, my love. It's one out the way, and it's nice to speak to you as well.
Have a nice weekend.
And to you. Take good care. Bye. 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 There is Jean from Hove. She will not be doing any dangling this weekend because she's can't be doing with the stones. Can't say I blame her. What about this number 3? What am I? What I contain never changes. That is the clue. What I contain never changes. Nick in Christchurch on the text 07786 200 961 says it could be a tyre. No, it is not. Nora from Bittern Park says maybe a hot water bottle. Not this weekend. You won't be wanting that, I tell you. We've also got Graham in Dartford says maybe an egg timer. No. A bicycle pump from Big Bad Colin. Nice one, Cole. Sadly, it's not the one that we are looking for. James from the Isle of Wight says, Paul, I'm out of hospital now, feeling a little bit better. Good. That's what I like to hear. And says, could the answer to the competition be time for the What Am I? Time. No, it's not. Chris from Ryde thought maybe a milk churn. Great answers here. We've also got Gillian from Oxford with the thermometer, because, the mercury in the thermometer, it never changes, always sits there and blah, 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 blah. No. A swimming pool from Matthew in Cranbrook. Just, can you please say hello to Auntie Brenda for me as well? I certainly can. And Teresa from Christchurch says, I reckon number 3 is a vein because it contains blood, always does, never anything else. Blood. Good guess, but it's the wrong guess. That is not the answer that we're looking for. John from Hawley, hello John, says could number 3 be air? I'm afraid it could not be air. No, it could not. So what about this song? Maybe we can get some better luck with this. It's a really well-known song, okay? They're never obscure. They're never songs that, you may not have heard for the past goodness knows how long. Always very well-known songs, and we need the artist, and we do need the title as well, because the clue could be in either. Give us a ring, use your number.
Call BBC Radio Kent 08459 811111.
And the email, paulmillershow@bbc.co.uk. Text 07786 200 961. Coming up to 25 past 10. Scott's with us from Raynham. Hello, Scott.
Hello, Paul. How are you?
Fine, your good self.
Yeah, not so bad. I was on 2 weeks ago.
Were you?
Yes, we were talking about cream eggs, weren't we?
Oh, I do remember, yes. I don't forget
do?
things like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Oh, no, I don't forget things like that.
And I think I seem to recollect that you had a sweet tooth, and I think you denied all knowledge of that, didn't you?
Oh, I deny it again as well. These are vicious rumours. No, I don't like... I only eat sweet things like, cakes and biscuits and goodness knows what, just to be polite, in front of others who offer them to me, Scott, that's all.
And how do you work it all off then, Paul?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, just do the belt up a little bit more, Pull it a bit tighter, breathe in. That'll be fine, don't you worry about a thing. Now then, are you ready for this mega heat wave?
Yes, it's been quite warm this week, hasn't it?
Yeah. Weekend's going to be really nice. I was saying just now to Jean, I think they said either Saturday or Sunday will be the warmest. Could be 23 or 24. Whoa.
Well, I'm buying a new car tomorrow, which has got aircon in it, so I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, you had to get that in, didn't you, eh? You had to get...
Well, I'll tell you what, Paul, I've been driving 21 years now, and I've never had a car with aircon. Would you believe that?
Really?
Yes, seriously.
So this is the big moment.
Yeah.
And this'll be why the sun's come out, you see.
I know.
It
Tell
is.
me about it.
Someone up there has thought, Scott's going out to buy the Flash Harry car with the air conditioning.
Oh, it's nothing flash.
I've got to do it. Well, it is. We've got air conditioning. I mean, my air conditioning, you wind the window down,
Oh, seriously?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Really?
Wind the window down, get a bit of air blowing through, It's about as good as it gets.
That's the cheapest option, I suppose, isn't it?
Well, it's about as good as it's going to be, I'm afraid. If the person in front of you throws an old banana skin out the window, you get that as well, but never mind.
That's not bad thinking about it, is it, really?
Oh.
So,
Is it awful when you're driving along, though, and some dreadful person in front of you is having a clear out, and there's all this stuff coming out the window and banging into the car,
normally a fast food outlet.
Yeah, it is. You're
Yes.
absolutely right. And you get, an old chicken wing or a chip, I think the worst thing that ever happened was I was driving along with a friend, years ago, and we're driving along, I think it was on the M25, one of the rare occasions we actually got some speed up on there, and we're going round, and suddenly he said, oh my goodness, what's that? And there was a McDonald's wrapper, they wrap their burgers in. It was one of those that had gone splat in the windscreen.
Really?
And,
Yeah.
and it was dangerous, because, you couldn't see where you were going, so we just managed to sort of pull over into the hard shoulder and get it off. And that was that. But no, people do how it all goes, chuck the old rubbish out. But there you go. They can't all be, upper class like us, can they, Scott? And perfect.
Well, just got to be honest with you, I want to get this off my chest time now, but you see people that just throw things out the window.
Yeah.
I mean, I did it as a kid, and obviously my parents would tell me off I could chew and gum wrap out the window, but our kids don't do it. And, when you see someone throwing, say, like a McDonald's wrapper out, you just think, well, why?
Yeah, I know, I agree. Yeah, I agree. Why not wait till you get wherever you're going and then put it in the bin like everybody else?
Yeah.
But no, but there you go. There we go. They wouldn't dare do it, though, if your flash car's behind them with the air conditioning, would they? Eh?
Well, no, that's probably not, no.
Yeah. What colour is it, the car that is?
It's a Peugeot. It's a Peugeot 406 estate. I run a disco, you see, so...
what colour is it?
Is it white, is it, Sue? Yeah, it's white, yeah.
You had a good look at it then, obviously.
Yeah, we went over...
Is it white?
It's white, it is white, yeah, last time I looked at it anyway, so...
It's going to be brilliant. I hope you have a smashing weekend. You'll be driving around. It'll be about minus 30 in that car.
I know, I can't wait, actually. I mean, the heat wave from sort of 2003, was it?
And last year.
And last year, extremely hot, and of course we did what you do in your car, Paul, that's winding your windows down.
Yeah, and you get even hotter.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, it's going to be brilliant. Good luck with that car. I hope it all goes to
Thank
plan.
You, Paul. I'll let you know about that.
Yeah, please do. In the meantime, which one are you going from, my competition?
I'm going to go for the music one.
Okay.
And I know what it is.
Go for it.
It's I Shot the Sheriff, Eric Clapton.
I Shot the Sheriff by Eric Clapton. Are you feeling very, very confident?
I'm 110% confident.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Ralph in Romsey agrees with you on that one. Comes through on the text a little while ago. We've also got Adeline, I think it's Adeline, who's come through on the email, agrees with you as well. Mm-hmm. And That's about it, really. Everybody else thinks it's Karma Chameleon.
Karma Chameleon, really?
Yeah. So that is the most popular guess. So what do you think? Am I going to be, pleasing you or making you feel miserable?
Well, like I said to you 2 weeks ago, I spin the old records at the weekend, and I know that this is 110% correct.
So if I was to tell you that it's Vera Lynn and the White Cliffs of Dover, you wouldn't believe me?
I would believe you, actually, yeah.
If I was to say it's Tchaikovsky, you'll take get off. Let's listen again. Lee, you are absolutely right.
Oh, great stuff.
I shot the sheriff.
So number 2 is now sorted. That means we're on our way, which is brilliant. Lovely to talk to you, Scott.
Have a top weekend, Paul.
Yeah, and you keep cool.
Okay, take care.
All the best.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Bye-bye now. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So we got that one sorted out. So all we now have to do is concentrate on number 1 and number 3. And then, of course, ultimately, it's not a who tonight, it's a thing. What the object is that's in the taxi. I shot the sheriff, Eric Clapton. Clue number 2. Number 3, what am I? What I contain never changes. What is it? Number 1 is an anagram. Scrapped lank capon. Any ideas? You better pick up the phone and give us a call, email, or the text, and we'll see if we can get some right answers. Let's have a look and see. We've got a few suggestions for number 3 coming through again. Loads and loads and loads on the text night, going mad. Chris from Something says, Paul, could it be milk? In a milk bottle? Because that's always the same thing. I'm afraid not. Could number 3 be a petrol tanker? Says Gwen from Bognor, because they always contain petrol. No, it is not. Robin Marchwood says a casket with good vintage wine, because that's a game that would always be in it. Nope. Big Bad Cole thinks it could be a blood bank, because they always contain blood. No. Tilbury Dave, hiya Tilbury Dave, says thinking it could be the sun, because that's in the sky. No. And also Deepak in Basingstoke says, could it be water that you're looking for? No, it isn't. No. 25 to 11. Paul Miller Show from the BBC in the South, round the world at bbc.co.uk. Don't forget, as I mentioned a little earlier on, we're going to be talking about parties after 11 o'clock tonight. Got a lovely story which, to be honest, is a couple of days old. It was a story that I read in the newspaper. I think it was on Wednesday. And it's not a happy story, it has to be said. But it's sort of amusing in a strange sort of way. I shall reveal all a little bit later. So we're going to be talking about parties just after 11 o'clock. But it is our final taxi competition, and we're trying to find out what the object is in the taxi tonight. It's not a person, it's an object. We've got one of our clues already. That is number 2, which was the mystery tune. Scott managed to get the answer to that. It is I Shot the Sheriff by Eric Clapton. I can tell you we've also now got an answer to the anagram as well that has come through on the email. I've got a couple here. First person to work out what it is the lovely Grace in Southampton, who says, hi Paul, I've worked out the anagram for you. It is snap, crackle and pop. And you're absolutely right. Yes, it is. So that is the anagram, snap, crackle and pop. So the anagram has been sorted. Also, John from Hawley managed to get the anagram right as well. That came through on the email. So well done to you. Let me see. I think there was another one that came through. Oh yes, and Sylvia from Shepperton. Sorry, Sylvia. I wondered what happened to your text. I had lost it. So yep. So that one is done. So we can now start looking at the actual thing, the object. Remember, the first person who gets it right will win one of my bugs. I mean, is there a connection already? Snap, Crackle and Pop, and I Shot the Sheriff by Eric Clapton. Don't know. This number 3 would help, I think. In fact, I know it would help. It's the what am I? What I contain never changes. What I contain never changes. Bruce from Banbury says, Paul, could it be a petrol tank? It's always got... petrol in it? Nope, I'm afraid it is not. Also one from Adrian as well, saying petrol too, and very similar. It's come through from Peter in Oxford, says, could it be a diesel tank or just generically a fuel tank? No, I'll tell you, it's got nothing to do with fuel. All right. It's going to speak to Rini, who's in Worthing. Hello, Rini.
Hello.
How are you?
Oh, fine, thanks.
Good. So you're not too far from being able to go and put the old toes in the water either.
No, not really.
Will you be going for a little dabble and a dibble in the water?
No, I don't think so.
You won't?
No,
Don't you like to get your little tootsies in there?
not really.
Have a
no.
cooling down?
I'm afraid of water.
Afraid? Now, is that your excuse for not putting any with your scotch? I've heard them all now.
Yes.
I've heard them all now. A little water with that really... Oh, no, I'm afraid of water. No. I just have it neat.
Well, I drink it.
It's not uncommon. I mean, both of my parents are absolutely petrified of water in terms of, swimming and that sort of thing. And my
Exactly.
grandmother was the same.
Yes.
Have you always been like it, my love?
Yes.
Wonder why.
I don't know.
I wonder why.
Perhaps somebody dipped me in water when I was young.
It's weird, isn't it, when these things, when these things happen? It could be anything. It could be, as you say, something that happened to you when you were young. It's a bit like any phobia, isn't it? There's a programme that's going to be on the telly, I think, in a few weeks' time, and they're going to try and get people to overcome their phobias. And as always, it's going to be the spider one, because that's very, very popular.
Oh, right.
And there are going to be several others. I'm not sure when it's going to be on. I was reading about it a couple of days ago. I think it may be early next month, something like that.
Oh,
and they're
good.
going to try this new method of doing it, something that's tried in America or something like that, I don't know. So it'll be interesting to see. But so there'll be no paddling for you, my love.
No.
Not to worry, not to worry. Which one are we going for on the competition?
The thing that's got something in it.
That never changes.
Yes.
Yeah, what do you think?
I thought it was a light bulb because the filament never changes.
Oh, right.
Well, it dies off, but I mean...
it's still there, isn't it?
Every light bulb has a filament.
Yeah, absolutely. There was a filament in there. Mine normally goes at 3 o'clock in the morning when I'm going to pop into the little boy's room.
That's right.
In you go, you put the light on, bing,
Bang,
you
yeah.
swine.
And then you don't know where the next light bulb is because
I know.
you can't see.
Exactly. And then you're sort of trying to remember where things are and you're trying to have a feel,
I've done that in the night as
Have
well.
you really?
Mm.
And you also find that when one goes, the others will all go as
Oh,
well.
of course, yes, because probably you put them all in at the same time last time.
Probably. They were all named me all cheap.
Oh, well, we've got to go over to these other things, haven't we?
The
long-
energy-saving bulbs. I've got a few of those.
They're so dull.
Well,
Well, they used to be.
I mean, they are when you first switch them on. Some of them have to warm up, which is a bit of a pain. Cause
Oh, is that what it is?
by the time they've warmed up, you finish doing what you want to do and you've turned them off again,
Will they fit in the same
Yes.
socket?
Yes, they do.
Oh.
I'm going to have to be like Rip Van Winkle with me candle, I think. Is it a bulb? No, it's not.
Oh.
Sorry,
I
my
thought that
love.
was so clever.
And, well, me too. I'm dead impressed. But it's not the one, I'm afraid.
Okay, thanks.
You take good care. Have a lovely weekend.
Thank you.
Bye now.
Bye.
Bye. Let me just say that a few people have come up with the idea as to what the overall answer is tonight. I think a few people are thinking we're being crafty tonight, as it's the last one. Matthew from Cranbrook has come up with this particular guess. Also, Andy from Valley Park. Eric from Hawley has come up with this one too. Jodie from Heathfield, this is for the overall guess, and also Jonathan, who is in York listening online, all think the answer to the competition is a packet of Rice Krispies, hence the snap, crackle and pop. Well, I can tell you, I can tell you, no. No snap, crackle and pop, no Rice Krispies. That is not the one that we're looking for. JJ from Southsea says, could it be a raffle that you're looking for? Nope. Andy says, could the object in the taxi overall be popcorn? No, it's not. The Wing family say a bulletproof vest by any chance? No. And a few more guesses for number 3 as well. Ice from Tilbury Dave? No, it's not. We've also got a gun from Vic in Maidenhead. That is also not the one we're looking for. Pam in Southampton says, number 3, Paul, could be a ticket machine, and so therefore the object in the taxi will be a pricing gun, possibly. That's clever. Nope. A pistol from Jackie in Folkestone. A firework from James. Not sure where James is. Tony from Bognor says, I think it's a bullet you're looking for, and so therefore it's a gun that's been left in the taxi. No. James in Reading thought the overall answer was a gun as well. Nope. What about a ship in a bottle for number 3? That's clever. What I contain never changes. A ship in a bottle. That's from Selzy Steve, who says he's just about to indulge in a peanut Kit Kat. Am I bothered? Hey, am I bothered? Yes, I am. A bottle bank from Nora in Bittern Park. We've also got Colin in Southampton with a gun as well. That was very, very popular. Could number 3 be your wallet, Paul? And it'll be a load of white fivers. Cheeky swine. No, it's not. We've got powder from James in Reading. I'll do as many of these as I can because I've got hundreds on the text here. A radiator from Selzy Jill. And Annie from Ashford. I absolutely adore this answer for number 3. She says, Paul, could it be a cow's udder? Because it's only got milk in it. That is brilliant. It's not, but it's an excellent answer, but not the one that we're looking for. No. A nut from Anne in Thatcham. Gas or water pipes from Jane in Rye. And we've also got... Who's this one from? Oh, and more salt and pepper pots as well that I think we mentioned a little bit earlier on. No, no, no. 11:15. Paul Miller Show from the BBC in the South. I think, to be honest with you, I know the answer, but I think there is enough in 1 and 2 to be able to work out ultimately what this thing is, because we're looking for a thing tonight rather than a person, okay? You've got Snap, Crackle and Pop, and then you've got I Shot the Sheriff by Eric Clapton. Just look at those two, and without knowing what number 3 is, I think you can possibly work out what the overall object is. Let us go to Ramsgate and speak to Roy. Hello, Roy.
Hello, young man. Yeah,
young man's got to be me, Roy.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's got to. And do you know I get younger as the weeks go by?
Yeah. I've got a young lad here. He's, what are you, 9? And he's guessed out the answer. He reckon it's a diamond.
What, for overall, for number 3?
Yeah, because it doesn't change.
Oh, I see, for number 3, what I contain never changes. A diamond.
Yeah, never ever changes, does it?
No, I believe it doesn't. No, absolutely.
And that's the only thing he can think of. How old are you? 13 he is.
Right. Who is he? Is he your son or something, or your
Hang
grandson?
on, no, I'll put him on.
Stick him on.
Hello,
Hello, who's that?
Jake.
Hi, Jake, how are you?
I'm alright.
Good. So who's Roy, then? Is he a relative of yours?
No, it's a friend.
He's a friend, oh, right. And he's pretty hopeless at these competitions, so you had to help him out a little bit.
Okay.
So you thought it's a diamond?
Yeah.
I'm afraid it's not a diamond, no. Not the one we're looking for, Jake. But it certainly fits, and it's good to speak to you. Thanks for that.
Yeah, bye.
Take care. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye. Roy and Ramsgate, along with Jake. No, it is not. No. We've got handcuffs from Andy, who's in Valley Park. We got cream from Jennifer, who is in Oxford. The overall answer, Paul, could it be a firework? I don't know who that's from. I can tell you it's not. Tilbury Dave says, I've got to say this for number 3 because it fits. Is it a sperm bank? No, it is not. So Shop-a-Lot thinks the overall answer could be a log fire. We won't be needing those over the weekend. Who's this one from? Sue in Wimbledon. Pour a bottle of drink in the taxi. No, 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 no. And also, could it be a gun or a pistol from Paul in King's Sutton? Again, no. Now then. Oh, my goodness. Suddenly, the guesses are going absolutely doolally. I don't think that number 3 is going to be... make an awful lot of difference now. Paul, though, thinks it could be a cloud because it's always got a silver lining. It's interesting. What about for number 3? Oh, I've got a wine bottle from James, who's in Sunbury. Nice to hear from you. No, it is not. I've also got a drum from JJ in Southsea. Bottle of milk from Steffi, who's in Brighton. Nice one, Steffi. Sadly, it is not. And what about a pack of cards, says Donna from Marden. We still don't have a right answer for number 3 that I can see at the moment. There again, on saying that, I have got so many texts here, there's every chance the one could have slipped by. But we're going straight off to the A31 to speak to Graham. Hello, Graham.
Hi.
Hi, how you doing?
Not so bad.
Good. You're obviously out working. You're Graham the trucker.
Yeah.
Where are you off to?
I've half an hour away from base. I finish in Eastleigh in about another quarter of an hour.
And is that it? Then you go home?
Yeah.
Very nice too. So what's on the back of the truck, or can you not say?
It's electrical parts.
Oh, right. And where do you sort of move? Do you move them up and down the country, or what?
Yeah, it's what it is I work for a distribution centre.
Oh, I see.
And we distribute round the south.
Right, I'm with you.
To the sister companies.
Because you see all these lorries going up and down the motorway, and you often look and you think, I wonder what's in there. You know, especially the ones that don't have... I mean, obviously, some of them have got names on the side, and you know roughly what's in there, like Royal Mail or whatever. But you see the others that have got nothing on the side, and you think, I just wonder what it is. You know, it could be absolutely anything, couldn't it?
Oh, yes.
You just never know. Well, it's nice to have you with us. You are going to have a go at the overall answer.
Yeah, I think it's a camera.
What has led you to a camera?
The Snap, Crackle and Pop.
Right.
And I shot the sheriff.
Oh, I see. So snap as in a snap is, you know, people take snaps, photograph snaps.
That's right.
And you, if you take a shot of something, it's the
right.
photographic shot, as it were.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Feeling confident?
Really?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Shall I tell you something?
Go on.
You're absolutely right.
Oh.
You're absolutely right. Do you know, it just seemed to click a little while ago. And Lena said to me, gosh, you Graham straight on that phone. Did it just suddenly hit you?
Yes, it did, yeah.
I think it was when we got the Snap, Crackle and Pop, people looked and saw shot and snap and thought pictures. And so there, camera it was. Well done to you, my friend. Well done.
Yeah.
What I shall do, I shall hand you back to the lovely Lena, and she is the lovely Lena as well. She's radiating this evening, though I'm not sure what she's doing with that banana she brought in with her tonight, because it's sitting there looking rather ominous. And she's got a DVD of Brokeback Mountain as well, so I just don't want to know. I really don't.
Yeah.
I'll hand you back, though, to Lena. She'll get your details. Bug will be in the post for you, ASAP.
Lovely. Thank you very
Good
much.
pleasure. Good to speak to you, Graham. You take care on those roads.
Yeah, and you. Have a good evening.
And to you. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye. Well done to Graham on the A31. As I said, it literally just clicked like that, I think, when the Snap, Crackle and Pop came out. Then, well, yep, I know what it's going to be. A couple of other people that managed to get the answer right as well, but of course only one winner. The overall object being a camera. We had Faith in Dibdom with the answer. Patrick from Mopley. In fact, Patrick, you would have been the next one down had it not have been for Graham. No, that's no consolation, I know. Elaine from Hertfordshire, Rita from Eversley got the right answer. A lot of people thought the overall answer was going to be a photograph, which is wrong. Jan in Wallingford had the answer right. We also had lots of photos, which is not right. I'm trying a new search thing on this text thing here to find them, and it's about as good as a kick in the teeth. Adrian doesn't say where he is, so he couldn't have been a winner anyway, but he had the right answer. Pam in Southampton, and also Brian, who I think is in Oxford. I've got Brian in O, so I assume that is going to be Oxford. Okay, well done to you and to everybody else who managed to get through tonight. We have a new competition on Monday. More fun, of course, more chances for you to win some of my my little bugs as well. There was one suggestion that came through a little bit earlier on that made me laugh, and I can't think where it's gone, but I'll find it in a minute. There was one that was very, very amusing. If I can find it, I'll read it in just a short while. It's 4 minutes to 11. Paul Miller Show from the BBC in the South. So news and weather at 11. We're then going to be talking about parties, but not just any old parties, as you will discover. More about that after 11. But it is now time for me to read out tonight's Bugs in the Cab registration number. Now, if you are somebody who, not so dissimilar to Graham I was talking to just then, who listens to this programme whilst you're driving around, you drive a truck, a tanker, a lorry, a taxi, a cab, anything, as long as you're driving for a living, that is fine. It can even be an emergency vehicle. We don't mind, as long as your boss doesn't mind. All you need to do is to register with us your details. We need to know your registration number, the type of vehicle that you drive, and obviously your name as well. They all get put into our pot. Now, we've got loads and loads of them in there. Each night around this time, we pull out one at random. I will then read out that registration number. If that is your registration number, you've got until just before 1 o'clock in order to phone through and claim your bug, okay? So, here comes tonight's registration number, and if this is your registration number, you need to be on the phone to claim, and you've got up until just before 1 o'clock to do so. Tonight's registration number is HD02DFA. More Flash Harrier vehicles, all these new ones. Brilliant. We have a high class of person listening to this programme, obviously. So, Hotel Delta 02, Delta Foxtrot Alpha. Is that you? You've got until just before 1 in order to claim that bug. So if you together. It's always me who pays, usually, but there you go. OK, it's the Paul Miller Show from the BBC in the South. It's just gone 11 o'clock.
Across the county and around the world.
This is BBC Radio Kent.
Hopes of finding any more survivors from the Norwegian oil supply ship which capsized at the Atlantic 24 hours ago have now been abandoned. The Royal Navy has said the...
Radio Kent.
So that'll be some of them. It's 4 minutes past 11, Paul Miller Show from the BBC in the South. We're going to be talking about parties in just a second. You may have heard the story in the news just now. And I think that no matter who you speak to, everybody has either been to or had a party that sticks out in your mind for one reason or another. It could be this party was really good. It could be a party that maybe was a complete disaster. Maybe one of those parties that went very, very wrong. And by party, we mean an ordinary party. It could be a wedding reception, anything you like. But is there a party that always stands out in your mind? Because things didn't quite go to plan, something went wrong, maybe there was a disaster. You know the sort of things that happen. Or it could just be that a person there decided to get a little bit out of control and they caused the odd problem or six. And have you ever gone to the wrong party? A friend of mine did some years ago. You may think it's an impossible thing to do. Believe me, it isn't. He was working, actually, in a nightclub. And some people said, "You come into a party round the corner?" "Yeah, I'm up for that," he said. And off he went. And it turned out when he got to this estate, there were about 3 or 4 parties going on. And he couldn't remember which house number they had given him. So he just went up to the first one, knock on the door as you do, ding dong. And somebody let him in, who'd had far too many Cinzanos anyway. They didn't know what day of the week it was, yet alone whose party it was. And I think he was there for about an hour before he realised that, that was not the right party and that something was definitely as it shouldn't be. He left and he went home. So have you ever ended up at the wrong party or been at a party where it all went wrong? And what about throwing a party somewhere and halfway through, the owners of the house come back? Maybe mum and dad went away, like the case of this lady in Durham. And remember, no parties and no friends round. All right, mum. All right, dad. Don't worry. A couple of days later, you throw this wild party. Something happens. Something gets damaged. Or do mum and dad come home early?
Call BBC Radio Kent 08459 811111.
Already those phones are ringing. The lovely Lena's taking those calls. You can text 07786 200 961. Email paulmillershow@bbc.co.uk. Paul Miller Show is cool and amazing. 11 minutes past 11. Paul Miller Show for a Friday from the BBC in the South. We are around the world at bbc.co.uk. A couple of mentions. Ian and Julia in Abingdon rung through to ask if you could please say hello to Liam and Jordan, who are also in Abingdon. Consider it done, no problem at all. Also hi to Debbie as well from Eastleigh. She wants to say hello. She's off for an early night tonight. Right, off you go then. You have a good one. And also Mags from Havant says, "Hiya Paul, can you please say hello to all the wonderful staff and service users with BS Care. Certainly will. Hello to you. And a couple of more mentions as well. One from Adrian, whose birthday is tomorrow. Happy birthday to you. From Christina and Karen. And also Mads from Lee says, special mention from you, please, Paul, because I haven't been too well today. All right, consider it done. So what about these? Oh, and Tilbury Dave. I'd almost forgot this one. Tilbury Dave says, quick mention for me, please, Paul, and also my brother Chris. We are both avid listeners to the programme. Consider it done again. Nearly forgot that one. Right. Parties. Oh, yes, parties. We've all been to a party that sticks in your mind for one reason or another. And, I mean, this story is turned out to be a pretty nasty story, actually, from the point of view of the poor people who live there. But if you didn't hear about it, I mean, the daughter has since been arrested. But this girl, her mum and dad went away, okay, for a few days over Easter. And they said, no parties, nobody coming round, none of that sort of stuff, thank you very much, look after the house, end of story. Yes, mummy, yes, daddy, goodbye, have a good time. Well, the next thing, she goes on to her MySpace profile, and she invites people to this party. Well, of course, that is like an invite to the whole world. And that is, well, virtually what happened. They had at least 200 people come to this party. The house was left in a terrible state. There's about £20,000 worth of damage. I mean, it's not funny at all. It really is bad news. But it sort of generates a few little comments around the office from people who say, oh, that reminds me of so-and-so's party. Because parties don't always go to plan. Sometimes things happen. They can be memorable for one reason or another, whether it be memorable for good or memorable for bad. And by a party, any sort of event, a party, a wedding reception, you know, whatever, little get-together, any that stick in your mind. Maybe you showed yourself up, maybe somebody else did, or maybe something, well, just happened that shouldn't have happened.
Call BBC Radio Kent 08459 811111.
Don't forget the text 07786 200 961, and on the email, Paul Miller Show, that's all one word, Paul Miller Show at bbc.co.uk. And you never know, feeling generous tonight, could be some little bugs up for grabs for the best stories, if they are true, that is. Let's go Leon Solent, speak to Alan. Hi, Alan.
Hi, Paul.
How are you?
I am very well indeed, thank you.
Are you on the balcony smoking one's pipe?
No, I've just put my last pipe out. I've come in from the balcony. I'm in bed, and there's an aeroplane which is about to take off from the Leon Solent aerodrome.
I was going to say, what, from your balcony? That's a big balcony.
No, but it's just at the back. So if you hear a noise, that's what it is.
Don't you worry about a thing. Don't you worry about that.
Right.
I'd have probably thought it was your stomach or something anyway, Alan, so, you know. So, memorable party, yeah?
Yes, it was a wedding reception.
Yeah.
I was about 14 at the time.
Oh, quite recently then?
Oh, yes, very recently. And we went down to my cousin in Dorchester.
Yeah.
And we went to the wedding. I can't remember much about the actual wedding, but I think it was in a registry office. And it wasn't far from where the reception was, and so we walked from the place where they got married to the reception.
Right.
And there were lots of people walking, and somehow my father and I got separated from the rest of the family, but we just followed the crowd. And then we went into this lovely reception place, up some steps. We were greeted with big smiles and a big glass of sherry.
Oh, I like that.
Wonderful. And
Yeah.
in we went. And then I think we had another glass of sherry at the same time, and sort of wondered why we didn't recognise anybody at all.
Oh, I'm already there, Alan.
And then we realised, of course, we were at the wrong reception.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Oh, how embarrassing. Had people not been looking at you a bit funny and saying, you know, who's that over there?
Well, no, you know what weddings are like. You don't know. You don't know half the people there anyway.
No, that's true.
So, of course, we crept downstairs and then eventually found Mervyn's reception.
Now, that isn't that difficult to do, is it? Because some of these venues, or whatever you like to call them, places where they, you know, you hire out halls, there can be more than one hall.
Exactly, yes.
And I remember some years ago, now, I can't remember what I was doing there. Oh, I know, I went with a friend of mine who was doing a disco in one of these places. This is ages ago. When we got there, all we knew was, it was in this place. And when we got there were about 3 or 4 halls, a great big one on the ground floor, and then there were 2 or 3 smaller ones upstairs. And, of course, we got there and thought, well, which one is it? And, of course, we got there before the people did, and we went up to people who worked there and said, we're here for this party for Mrs. Smith or whatever. And they said, oh, no, we don't know about that. We're just the caterers, we haven't got a clue.
Yes.
And, of course, no mobile phone in those days. This was the Stone Age. And so I can't remember what happened in the
Stone
end.
Age. I still haven't got a mobile phone.
Have you not?
No, I never will either.
Well, you're missing out on all the fun. And I think eventually the actual person who had booked him arrived on the scene. I think they came along to sort of check if everything was okay, and they were able to tell us which one it was. But otherwise, we would not. We wouldn't have known.
No, that's right.
We could have been in completely the wrong place.
Yes.
So you sort of walked out on tippy toes very quietly.
We did indeed. Although I wasn't at all embarrassed. I've only been to one party where I was very embarrassed. And that was a Halloween party where you were supposed to wear fancy dress.
Oh, yes.
But I didn't realise that, and we were the only 2 in the party that didn't turn up in fancy dress.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that was kind of a nightmare. So
it's not as if you were wearing sort of, a bow tie and what have you, and said you could have gone as James Bond or something.
No, we were just in ordinary
Just smartly dressed.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sure that must have happened to other people.
I'm sure it does.
And I'm sure we'll be finding out as well.
I look forward to hearing.
Always good to speak.
You too, Paul.
And you have a lovely weekend, won't you?
I will, with this weather.
I was going to say, it's going to be
Might
beautiful.
even go in swimming.
Whoa, you go steady now. Take care, Alan.
You too, bye.
Bye-bye now, bye-bye. There's Alan in the wrong wedding reception. Whoops-a-daisy. Bernard from West Grinstead on the email says, Paul, 30 years ago, my sister had a party. It was her 21st, actually, at her flat. I was about 19 at the time. Now, the days of Party 7 beer cans, that sort of 7-pint cans, it was great. Really enjoyed it. But a little too much, I fear. I broke a pint glass and was violently ill all over a rose bush, which was awful. The thing is, says Bernard, a week later, I asked my sister if she'd enjoyed the party. And she said, oh, yes, there was only one broken pint mug. And for some strange reason, the rose bush had mysteriously died. Laugh, I nearly died myself. I was responsible for both incidents. Very tame, I'm sure, by today's standards. And I don't think she knows to this day that I was the culprit. Bernard, I will tell nobody, don't you worry. Your secret is safe with me. I've also had one come through from Lawrence, who says, Paul, a couple of years ago, I went to a wedding reception. It was a friend of a friend. You know what it's like. People that you've met once or twice, you get invited, and I felt obliged to go. I had no one to go with. Nobody wanted to go with me. I knew roughly where it was. I knew it was in a pub down a particular street. I nearly died when I got to this street and discovered it was one of those very long roads that has maybe 4 or 5 pubs. Well, there was one that had lights flashing inside and lots of people outside dressed up. I thought, that has got to be the one. I went up to the door and I asked if it was Karen's wedding. Yes, they said. So in I went. Paul, what are the chances of there being 2 wedding receptions in the same street and brides are both called Karen? Well, on this particular night, it happened. It was the wrong one. But do you know, I stayed there right through until the end, and it was only a couple of days later when I received a phone call asking where I had been that I realised what had happened. That is bad, isn't it? But it's true, if you're, you don't know anybody at this wedding or this party, or you don't know many people, you're going to be surrounded by strangers, so, it could be. Have you ever gone to the wrong one? Or maybe you've gate crashed a party. I suppose that's what it is, really, but completely unintentionally. Let us know. Just gone 20 past 11. We should go and speak to Jason now. Hello, Jason.
Hi there, Paul.
Hi, whereabouts are you, my friend?
I'm in Maidstone.
Oh, I'm nice.
Working at the moment.
Oh, what?
Well, I'm kind of working, but in this job I get to sleep.
You're kind of working, but what are you, a bed tester or something?
No, I'm a support worker.
Oh, right, fair enough then. That's fair enough.
I have to say, look after the people, so...
Oh, that's reasonable. That's fair enough to me. That sounds fair enough. Now then, parties when Mummy and Daddy are away? Surely not.
Well, yeah, it was about 3 years ago now.
Spill the beans.
And, well, my mum and dad are very keen gardeners, and they've got a lovely garden.
Uh-huh.
And they've got some statues in the garden that they get from a nice place, you know, and a nice one of a lady. And anyway, I had this party around my house. Mum and Dad went away, and I thought, we'll have a party, you know, as you do. And I invited some friends round, and we all had a few beers, and we started to play this game of Truth or Dare. And part of the dare was to run down the garden to give this statue a kiss on the cheek and run back up.
What was the statue of? Can you remember?
It's a statue of a lady, so...
Yeah, go on.
Anyway, as this was happening, one of the people took it a bit too far, and the statue fell over, and it got slightly dented in the face area.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
And is this like your mum and dad's pride and joy?
Yes, my mum had bought it, and she was like, it was a centrepiece in the garden, so...
Ooh. Did the other person, you know, who had knocked her over come clean or not?
No, I don't know who it was to this day. I did admit to sort of my mum and dad that I did have a party, because I knew I was going to get found out anyway.
Yeah,
so,
there's always something to give the game away.
And plus the fact a couple of the neighbours knew it was going on, and I had to go round and apologise the next day as well.
And you really feel bad about it, don't you?
Yeah. It was silly, really, but looking back on it, it was... every time I go down that garden, I see that statue with a great big dent in it.
Is the dent still there?
Yeah.
So it couldn't be fixed then?
No, it was sort of a chunk that came... I think it was in the back of the head or around... It's sort of, but they moved it and they've kind of put it somewhere in a load of bushes. They can't see it. So it's kind of funny, but it's mad. But when I think about it, it was a mad thing to do. And
yeah, but we all do mad things.
Yeah, but, you know, it's been a long time since I last spoke to you, Paul, so...
Oh, as long as you're still there.
Yeah, I'm still listening. So.
Working hard.
Yeah, working hard. I'm going to go to sleep in a minute, and then I'm going to get up nice and bright and early in the morning.
And what have you got planned for tomorrow? Going to be a nice weekend.
Yes, I finish work at 10, so I'm going to be going into Maidstone Town Centre to do some shopping.
Very nice too.
Then I'm meeting two friends who I haven't seen for a long time and going out for a meal in the evening.
Hey, sounds good to me. Just remember, no kissing the ornaments.
No, we'll try not
or the
to.
statues, otherwise there could be more problems. Have a good one. Lovely to speak to you.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. Bye.
Take care, Jason. Bye-bye now. Wait. There's Jason in Maidstone. Party when the parents are away. Are there any parents who are going to admit that their loved siblings had a party whilst you were away? Did you go on holiday and say, don't forget, no parties whilst we were away, but then when you came back, you realised there had been a party? Maybe there was some big cover-up going on, or maybe as soon as you walked in the door, you knew something had happened. Pick up the phone and give us a ring. Email or the text, and we'll do some more very, very shortly. Steve on the M40 says, Paul, you never told us what the answer to number 3 was on the competition. You're absolutely right. No, I didn't. It's because we got the final answer. I never did tell you what number 3 was. Thanks for reminding me. The competition in the first hour, the taxi, the overall answer, as we know, was a camera. Okay, that was the overall answer we were looking for. Number 1 was the anagram, which was scrapped lank capon. That turned into Snap, Crackle and Pop. Number 2, the mystery tune, was I Shot the Sheriff by Eric Clapton. And number 3, which was the What Am I, the clue was What I Contain Never Changes. And the answer was a film. A film, because whenever you watch a film, whenever you play a film back, like a feature film, whatever, it's always the same, isn't it? Because, you know, it never changes. It stays as it was when it was recorded. So we've got the word film, we then had shot, and we had snap, and the overall answer was a camera. So there you go. That's what number 3 was. Sorry about that, Steve. I completely forgot, but thanks for reminding me.
Call BBC Radio Kent 08459 811111.
Here's the number that you need. We're talking about parties tonight, parties that stand out for one reason or another. Is there one that whenever you hear the word party, you think, ho, I'll never forget that night? So what about them if your son or your daughter has a secret party whilst you're not there? I mean, it does actually happen. It's not just in sitcoms. Marilyn from Luton can tell us all about this. Hello, Marilyn.
Hello, Paul.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Yes,
Good.
enjoying the programme.
Thank you. Now, we often hear these stories and we see them on, programmes on the telly, and it's all a bit of fun. But it actually happened for you.
Yes, it did, yes. My husband and I, we going away, went away for a long weekend. I think it was our wedding anniversary. And the last thing I'd said to my son as I left the house was, please, no parties. Well, anyway, the weekend went by, we came back. And when we came back, the house was absolutely pristine, and I thought, oh, great, nothing's gone on,
Yeah.
In fact, I don't know, in the back of my mind, I thought, it's a bit too clean
It's a bit
for
too
me.
clean.
Yeah, I thought, oh, it was just, absolutely, I was well impressed, really impressed, the place was absolutely A1. Anyway, a couple of days later, I thought, oh, I'll get the Hoover out, I'll do some hoovering. Well, this blooming Hoover wouldn't work, would it? It wouldn't, half or puff or,
I've got one of those, Marilyn. I got mine cheap. I can see why now.
And I thought, whatever's the matter with this thing? It won't pick up, it's making a funny noise. So anyway, I opened it up, and the Hoover was absolutely crammed full of sticky popcorn.
Oh, my goodness, no wonder it wouldn't work. 'Cause it was all gunged up inside.
It was all gunged up with this popcorn. And then, of course, everything fell into place. And my son did admit afterwards that he'd had a party. But talk about your sins will find you out.
It's true.
Something always happens.
I know. It's like, do you remember the advert on the television for Yellow Pages when there was that boy and he had that party and he thought that everything was fine because his mum and dad were coming home.
That's right,
And then he looked on the wall and someone had drawn a moustache on a picture or something, There's always something that you forget.
Yeah, but I think my son thought, he got well away with it. And then, of course, I just, he came in the door and I said, is the Hoover lately, Andrew?
And what, did he come clean or did he try to deny?
No, he came clean. He did come clean, yeah.
The thing I want to know is, Marilyn, is what on earth were they doing with the popcorn?
I don't know. That's what I thought.
I mean,
Oh, my goodness, it's a good job I didn't see.
This could be interesting,
Apparently they were
couldn't it?
throwing at each other.
Oh, right. I bet
It started off by one, pinging it, and then they all joined in, apparently, and apparently popcorn was all over the house.
I bet it was covered.
It was.
And he's thinking, what can I do?
I know.
What can I do?
Yeah, so that was the
lovely
end
story.
of that Hoover.
Yeah. So in future, whenever you've come in, or since then, should I say, whenever you've come in, if the house looks as though it's been round with Mrs. Mop, you smell a rat.
Yes, except that he's married now and he's got his own house. So
he can make a mess in his own house and do what he likes with the popcorn.
That's right, he can do what he likes now. Yes.
A great story. What have you got planned for the weekend? Anything good?
Not really, Paul. No, just
take it easy.
Might go a bit shopping tomorrow.
Nice shopping or nasty shopping?
Pardon?
Nice shopping or nasty shopping?
Well, daughter's expecting her first baby in about 2 weeks.
Oh, fabulous.
So, yeah, we're very excited about that.
Yeah.
So you'll find me amongst the baby clothes every time I go to town at the moment, I'm afraid.
And do you ooh and ah and coo at everything you see?
Yes.
You look and think, oh, bless.
Yes.
Oh, look at this.
Oh, I know,
look at
I've got it really bad.
Oh, and isn't that sweet?
I know.
My mother still does it, and I say, I couldn't get a toe in that, yet alone anything else, I don't know.
Yeah, so.
Oh, I hope that all goes well. Lots and lots of congratulations when that all happens.
Thank you.
And nice to speak to you.
Yes, nice to speak to you, Paul.
Thanks, Marilyn.
Thank you for a lovely programme.
Bless you, thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye, my love.
Bye.
Bye-bye. There's Marilyn. She's in Luton. Son had a secret party. Any more secret parties? Mm-hmm. Philip from Aylesbury says, "Paul, on the subject of wedding receptions, my wife and I got married 4 years ago in Stanmore, and we held the reception at the Grimsdyke Golf Club, which is about 2 miles from the church. Now, to get there, you have to drive past the Grimsdyke Hotel. That's where Gilbert and Sullivan lived. So there we all were, except my parents, who, having not driven in London before, they live in Morecambe, had gone to the hotel instead of the golf club. Well, to be honest with you, Paul, I was starting to panic, thinking what had happened to them, and I wouldn't let the reception start until they got there. Well, they only realised they were at the wrong reception, as there was champagne on tap. Ooh, far too posh for the likes of me, and it just didn't seem right. You're never going to believe this, but it turned out the wedding they were at was the wedding of a Greek princess at a hotel. Oh, yes. We laugh about it now, but we were so worried at the time. Love it. Philip from Aylesbury, thanks very much indeed for that one on the email. And also one from, who's this from? This is Jenny. Jenny. She says, Paul, many, many years ago, my husband used to make homemade cider, which he kept locked in a cupboard. Well, one night we went out intending to stay out for the whole night. We had a disagreement, can't remember what it was about now. And so we went home in the early hours to find his daughter, that's my stepdaughter, had had a party. And wait for it, they'd broken into the cupboard. There were bodies everywhere. We had a large house and a lot of land at the time as well. So the kids were found in several rooms, in the garden, in an empty swimming pool, and also down the orchard. Would you believe it? I made my parents very angry when I rang around 2 in the morning telling them to come and collect their kids. What a night. Lots of love there from Janny. Thank you for that one. And also, I've got lots and lots and lots coming here. Quick text from Richard in Slough. He says, Paul, I tried to arrange a secret party when my parents went on holiday a couple of years ago. It all went very, very wrong because one of my friends who was going to be coming to the party told his mum and dad, who were close friends of my mum and dad, and little did I know they had sent them a forwarding phone number. They knew the hotel they were staying in, and so they were able to tell them about it. I got a phone call from my mother from the hotel in Spain the morning of the party saying, if you even think about having a party tonight, you can pack your bags. I then had to be very, very careful to make sure that I contacted everybody and tell them not to come round. What a thing to do. And also one from Jonathan, who says, Paul, parties have always been my forte because I'm a very shy person. I don't like going to parties at all. The only way I can go is if I have a drink or two because it helps me to relax. I went to a friend's 40th birthday party 2 years ago. I was feeling okay. I had a couple of drinks before I went to relax me. I think I'd been at the party for about 2 hours and I was starting to feel a little bit uneasy. The party was becoming a little bit wild. People were doing strange things. Yes, dancing about, jumping up and down on the tables. You know, the sort of mad nonsense that goes on. Anyway, I had a few more drinks and a few more. I don't remember getting home that night. But here comes the punchline. A few days later, I was emailed some photographs of me at that party. The things I was doing is nobody's business. Nothing to offend anybody and nothing to hurt anybody. But let me just say that any confidence that I did have is now completely gone. I will not be going to a party again.
Call BBC Radio Kent 08459 811111.
There's a lesson to be learned, and I'm sure you probably will have learned it as well. And talking about going to the wrong one, love this from Simon in Reading. He says, Paul, I worked as a mobile DJ back in the 70s and 80s, and my mate and I used to go around to the various venues, this old clapped-out Ford van. We had quite a good setup, really. We've been doing it for a number of years. We were quite proud. We had regular business from one particular lady. We used to do all the parties for her family and friends, so we were delighted when they offered us the chance to do the disco at her son's wedding. They told us where the wedding reception was going to be. We arrived about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. The caretaker let us in. We set up all our gear and there we stayed. We went and got something to eat. This was all quite normal, really, expecting people to start to arrive for their meal at about 7 or 8 o'clock. We'll then play some gentle music. Then after the speeches, we'll get on down and party for about 9 through until 1. It got to 7 o'clock and there was nobody there. Then suddenly at 7:30, cars started to arrive. We thought, thank goodness for that. The door opened and in walked all these people. I knew straight away something was wrong. The people just didn't look as though they were those that we should be playing to. They were all dressed in very, very strange clothes. It was a fancy dress party. And little did I know that they were expecting a disco to be there that was also going to be playing to this particular theme that was Disney. Well, you can imagine the embarrassment. We realised we were in the wrong place. I told somebody what had happened. They were not at all amused. So we then thought maybe the other disco that should have been there had gone to the other venue for the other people, and so the wedding would go ahead. I think I know what you mean. It turned out that the other disco had let them down, and so where we should have been was disco-less. It was the most embarrassing night. Awful. In fact, soon after that, I gave up with the DJ and I thought, no, enough is enough. Oh, that's miserable. And something along those similar lines. We had a call just now from Ray on the M25. He said that he couldn't come on because he's driving his lorry, but he said that his daughter got married last year. They've been planning this in a hotel for the past 2 years or so, and they had a live band to play and it didn't turn up. Oh, it's miserable. Do you know, I hate that sort of thing. Has that ever happened to you, Lena? You know, you go somewhere and the entertainment doesn't turn up, whether it be a band or a disco, and just nothing, you know, and you end up with, you know, you had a band walked off stage. I must have been the lead singer. Clearly, it's like, what were people throwing at them? What were they, just anything they could get? Party poppers and things like that. How embarrassing. Has that ever happened to you? Or maybe you've been somewhere and you were booed off stage. Surely not. Never do that with me. Had an email come through from Sally. Sally Thomas says, Paul, my husband is a lorry driver who works nights, frequently listens to the programme along the way, in particular when he's on the M4. Could you please say a big, big hello to him for me and tell him that I love you lots. That's to Steve Thomas, and if you can do it at around 11:45, that'll be very much appreciated. No problem at all. So hi to you, Steve. Steve Thomas, Sally's thinking of you, sends you lots and lots of love, and you take care on those roads tonight, as always. And also hi to Jonathan as well, who wants happy birthday to his mum. Hello, Jonathan's mum, wherever you happen to be. I'm sure you know who you are. So parties then. We've been talking about parties in this part of the programme, and, you know, there's always something that happens, isn't there? You know, there's always a party that sticks in your mind for one reason or another. Either you ended up going to the wrong one, or you went to a party where something bizarre or way out happened. But what about going to the wrong party? I'm amazed at just how many people this has happened to. For example, Gloria in Stenning says, Paul, a couple of years ago, my daughter got married. She was most unhappy when, well, most of the people didn't turn up at the reception. We had seen them at the church. It went so well. It was a beautiful day. And in the evening, very few people turned up. We hadn't realised that there were two venues with very similar names about half a mile apart from each other, which we thought was stupid. Anyway, eventually they did manage to find their way there. And a great one from Tom in Oxford. He says, Paul, I'm the one I'm afraid that people don't like inviting to parties because I always seem to make myself look stupid. I like to enjoy myself. I don't like to offend anybody, but I do have a couple of bevies, if you know what I mean. And I tend to start singing rather loudly. And if there's a microphone around, I normally grab hold of that as well. It has been known in the past for me to literally be dragged away from the stage and dragged out of the building. Yes, I've come across a few people like that over the years as well. And also Jimmy in Southampton says, funny you should be talking about parties, Paul, because some mates of mine are having a party tomorrow night. And wonder if you could please give us a mention. We are getting things planned as we speak. We're trying to sort the music system out that's gone very wrong. Tell Jimmy doesn't know what he's doing with those wires and to leave it to the experts. Sounds to me like it's a recipe for disaster. And also Craig needs to learn how to use the cooker before he does the cooking. Always enjoy the programme, Paul. Thanks very much indeed. No problemo. Now then, we're going to be talking... I've got a couple more emails to read in just a sec. But let me just tell you that after 12 o'clock, we're going to be talking about, well, I suppose food disasters is the right word in a way. We're going to be talking about when you set things alight. Now, there's a lovely story today which made Lena and I laugh, but there again, we've got those funny sorts of sense of humour anyway. A German lorry driver set fire to his cab after deciding to do a little bit of cooking whilst he was driving along the Autobahn. Now, don't ask how and why, but he did. Apparently, he had this little cooker on board, little gas cooker thing, you know, with a bottle, and he was doing some cooking, and, well, it all went wrong. And he ended up setting light to the cab and the whole lorry went for a burn and all the rest of it. But, of course, with the nice weather on its way, we would like to know whether or not you have ever demolished or cremated a meal. have you set something alight? Now, in particular, this can be the barbecue, or you got friends coming round. You say, I've got the roast in the oven. It'll be fine. And then you forget about, you know what it's like, the doorbell rings and you're nagging away to somebody, and then the phone rings, and then you think, it's a funny smell. There's a funny smell. And you think, oh, my goodness, me hand and spring. You go running into the kitchen, and there it is, smoke pouring out the oven. It's happened to us all, apart from me, of course. But have you ever set light to something and ends up cremating a meal? We'll be hearing from you in the last part of the programme on that. Couple of final stories coming through about the parties, though. There's some really, really good ones. Paul says, someone else called Paul. He says, our daughter wanted a party for her 18th just for her friends. So the wife and I were banished to a local hotel in Broadstairs. When we got to the hotel, we found out that James Bond was staying in the room next to ours. We know this as all night long, all could we hear was, oh, Roger, more. I've heard it before. And I still love it. Couldn't resist. Thanks very much for that one. And June from Fareham says, Paul, some years ago, I was invited to a party extremely early on in the evening. The hostess was, well, noticeably missing. Short time later, host decided to see where she'd gone. That's when the shouting started. I'm tired. I've been working all day, she said. It's your party. You invited the people. You entertained them. I'm gonna bed. He insisted. She came downstairs, but no. This rowing continued. We didn't know what to do. Needless to say, he did come downstairs on his own, but the atmosphere was awful. And you know, we all left, I think, about 9:30. And that's from June in Fareham. How awful. But if you've got a party going on somewhere and there are other people in the house, then they may start moaning and groaning, you know, especially if they're going to be up the next morning. Could be. Now then, what have we got? Tiger Bill has just been in touch to claim his bug for tonight. Thank you very much indeed, Tiger Bill. So that one is sorted. Tonight's bug in the cab has been claimed. There will be another one on Monday. And don't forget, still not too late for you to register yours. Just send us the details of your registration number, the type of vehicle that you drive, and your name as well. And then we shall pull one out each night. If it's yours, you have the duration of the programme in order to phone up and claim that bug. Right. Just a reminder, if you've got a story to tell in the last hour of the programme about setting something alight when you're cooking, it's the usual phone number. If you want to text, 07786 200 961, and the email, paulmillershow@bbc.co.uk. Paul Miller Show, as always, is one word. But it's always nice to have a chat as well.
Call BBC Radio Kent 08459 811111.
Love this from Gary in Bognor. He said, Paul, the worst thing that can happen to a party is your producer Neil turns up wearing his shorts. Oh, don't go there. Have a nightmare. Coming up to 12 o'clock, news and weather is on the way, and it's going to be a busy last hour. We're asking you, have you ever set the food alight? It could be a barbecue, it could be in the oven, it could be anywhere. It happens. And this lorry driver who set the whole lorry alight he just made me lie. I thought it was really quite funny. So we're asking you, when have you set something alight? Maybe when somebody's come round to the house. I say, can be barbecue, can be in the garden, or could be something indoors. I mean, it isn't just something that is left for carry-on films and sitcoms. It does sometimes happen. It may be you forgot about something. Could be you're on the phone. That always happens, doesn't it? You just shove your hand and spring in the oven and the phone rings. And it's someone you can't get rid of, you didn't want to talk to in the first place. And there you are thinking, come on, and suddenly you can smell it. What's that smell? Oh, my goodness, got to go. Whoosh, run into the kitchen, and there it is on fire. What are we going to have to eat now? And what about if friends are coming round or people are coming round for the evening and you set light to the dinner? Let me know. It's busy on the phones. A lovely Lena will get through to you as soon as she can. You can always text 07786 200 961. few more hellos. Hi to Jeremy, who's in Woking. Hi, Jeremy. Nice to hear from you. Thanks very much indeed for your text, my friend. I've also got to say hello to Beatty, who says, "Well, I should be 15 tomorrow. Can you please wish me a very, very happy birthday? And also say hello to my parents, Mark and Anne. Not forgetting my sister Alice. Consider it done. A very happy birthday. And also hello to Jojo as well, who says, "Boy, very interesting listening to the programme tonight about the parties. I was invited to a party in someone's house about 20 years ago. And we had no idea that the parents of the person who had the party had forbidden them from having it. It was very, very embarrassing when a few days later all the red faces started to come out." There you go. As you say, such is life. It's just gone 12 o'clock, ahead of the news. If you're without power at the moment, we have got power cuts, as we mentioned a little bit earlier on, in parts of Kent and Sussex. Now, there is no change in the situation at the moment. However, EDF Energy are on both sites trying to rectify the problem. You may remember earlier we mentioned this. Lena, can we remember what the postcodes were of the areas that are actually affected so people know? See, if your postcode is CT5, which is a Kent postcode, and there is BN12, which is a West Sussex, I think, isn't it? BN12. If they are one of those is your postcode, we are aware there are power problems. EDF Energy say there is still no update. They don't know when the supply will be back, but they are on site and they are trying to get things sorted out. I believe they said it's a high voltage problem somewhere, but if I get any more information on it, I will, of course, let you know. It's 9 minutes past 12. It's Paul Miller Show from the BBC in the South, and I'll be glad that it's now today rather than yesterday, which was Friday the 13th. Not good. Not that I'm superstitious, you understand. We were being ever so careful, Lena and I, to make sure that, we didn't see any black cats or walk on the cracks in the pavement. You know, the sort of thing. Oh, yeah. You just never know. We don't go there. So what about setting things alight then? In fact, this could even coincide with the party stories of when things go very, very wrong. Because when you've been at a party and you're feeling a little bit peckish, I'll stick some oven chips in the oven. 2 hours later, what happened to those oven chips? Oven chips? Oh, my goodness. And there they are on fire in the kitchen. It's amazing, the phones have gone absolutely bonkers for this. It seems that a lot of people have had this situation. For example, Lee from Haywoods Heath says, "Paul, my wife Mandy set light to her grill about a month ago. She did it in style. She also set light to a nearby tea towel. She melted the kettle and also the toaster." Nothing like doing it in style, It's got to be done. And also, who's this one come through from? This is from James, who says, "Paul, don't even talk to me about setting things alight. My grandmother sometimes is a little bit absent-minded. She can't get used to the fact that the electric kettle," I've been here, "the electric kettle does not go on the gas. Hers has on numerous occasions. We end up with smoke and fumes and flames and goodness knows what. I can't think of how many she's actually got through over the years. She just doesn't seem to realise." And also Alex says, "Once me and my mum were doing a barbecue and it was going fine until the next day we discovered that the barbecue had fallen over and the table that it had been on had obviously caught alight and had been smouldering throughout the night. Gone. Never to be seen again." And also... Oh, this is terrible. Talk about food. Dave in Portsmouth says, "I remember once I set my friend's bed on fire." Wait for the rest of the story, please, next door. No need for that. Because basically I spilled aftershave on the sheets and then he dropped cigarette accidentally. Needless to say, I was not welcome back. I've heard of having a hot time in the bedroom, but that sounds ridiculous. And also one from... Who's this from? Alison says, "Paul, a couple of years ago, I had to call the fire brigade because I set bread alight. Can you believe it? I was cooking toast. I put it under the grill, and I had the grill up too high. Was talking to the lady next door out of the window, brackets as you do, close brackets. The next thing, there were flames. Caught my very nice Vision Net curtains. Up they went. They were dripping, so I didn't realise they were nylon. Then I realised that also my false ceiling was flammable as well. Called the fire brigade. They came round, sorted it out. When my husband came home later that night, he went absolutely mad." I'm not surprised. What have you set alight? Let me know. I'm not looking for new sad stories of houses being, burnt to the ground or anything like that, because that's not amusing. We're just interested in when you've set something like when you're cooking and that sort of thing, whether it be the barbecue, in the oven, whatever. Doesn't matter. Ah, surprise, surprise. Who's on the phone over here, I wonder? Hello, Anne.
Good evening. I'm sorry, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Isn't it strange how as soon as I mention this, people start emailing and saying, I wonder what Anne's up to?
Well,
do you have a reputation by any chance?
Just slightly.
Do you think so?
Just slightly.
A little hot and smoky?
A bit hot and smoky, yes. Fire Brigade haven't been round this week, so it's been quite quiet,
That's quite an achievement, actually, isn't it?
Pardon?
That's quite an achievement for you.
It is an achievement,
You've
yes.
got a whole week.
A whole week, Paul. Yes, a whole week. Well, you know that I live next to the fire station anyway now, so...
Someone next door just said you've been living on salad.
Thank you. Oh, dear. Well, I've got a couple... These are just a couple of gentle ones that I can tell you. Last year, out of my mother's garden, beautiful garden full of organic vegetables, I pulled some beetroot.
Right.
Obviously, they've got earth on them, right? So I've scrubbed the earth off, just took off the top and tail, because you have to be careful not to cut too much off because they bleed.
Yes.
Wash them thoroughly, put them in a saucepan of boiling water, and every so often you've got to top it up, obviously, because they take quite a while to cook. Doing quite nicely, doorbell rang. So why is it that when the doorbell rings, you forget everything you're doing? I went to the door, answered it, neighbour standing there, and he's an astronomer, so we got talking about the stars and things, and sort of, it must have been a good half an hour, I suppose, and I suddenly thought, I can smell something. Teddy, but I better just go a minute. Smoke going out the back door, on the stove, burnt solid black saucepan and tiny little remnants of beetroot. Just little screwed up portions of beetroot. You couldn't even distinguish them as
Oh, but it smelt nice in that kitchen, didn't it, Em?
Oh, it did smell.
Because burnt saucepan is awful, I know.
But the saucepan was just totally ruined. Completely ruined. And then another time, when the grandchildren came down, and they brought their own pizza with them, one of their favourites, one you buy in the shop. So now all you have to do is put the oven on, get it to right temperature, pop it in, 13 minutes, that's all. Right, in went the pizza. All of a sudden, one of them said to me, "Now there's smoke coming out the oven. Did you take the cardboard off underneath the pizza?"
No!
And it was gone fire.
You're joking?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
You forgot, you left the
I left the cardboard
cardboard
underneath. Yes, because when you take it out of the box, there's a piece of...
That's right.
Yeah, and I'd left it there.
But did you not sort of think that, cardboard, oven,
I don't
flames,
think
fire?
about things like that. I mean...
I'm surprised you took it out of the box.
Oh, that was probably the problem. That was probably the problem. But it's still in the box, yes.
You're joking.
I know. And then, would you believe, Wednesday this week, they came down and they bought some sausages with them. I don't know why they have to bring their own food. So I said, well, I'll put the sausages in the oven. Nan, you won't burn them, will you? I said, no, I won't. They'll just be nice and caramelly. They were. You promised, Nan. No, I won't burn them. I just kept watching them and everything. Put a piece of kitchen roll on the worktop. I just wiped my hands because they're a bit greasy, put it down on the worktop, went to see what the girls were doing. All of a sudden, there's a smell of burning again. And it must have been half hanging over the cooker. It caught fire. Well, actually, I did a very silly thing because I should have whacked it with a wet dishcloth. But I picked it up and took it to the sink. But by then, the whole thing was alight. And I put it in a sink. Oh, the smell. When you put the tap on it to douse it,
Yes, yes.
So anyway, when the mum came to pick them up, she said, "Did you have a nice tea?" Well, Nan nearly set the kitchen on fire again. It's the again that comes.
I was going to say, that's the thing, isn't it? It's this again, as though it's a regular thing.
Well, it is. You'd think I did it all the time, wouldn't you?
No, never, Anne. No, I know you're old.
No. But,
so you've got a stainless steel sink with little sort of black effect every here and there.
Stainless steel, no, it is not marked at all.
It isn't?
No. But in actual fact, I did do a silly thing because you should never pick up something that's on fire.
No.
Should you? Not like that, because it was getting worse as I picked it up. But I
there
just
again,
thought, get it to the sink,
Yeah, I think, it's all very well, in hindsight, should do this, should do that, but when things happen, you do panic. It's,
yes. Well, I just
it's human nature.
Put it thought.
Get rid of it, yeah. Listen to you'll like this one. It's not only you.
Thank goodness.
I've got a lovely text come through here from Derek in Abingdon. He says, Paul, about 5 or 6 years ago, my wife called me one day at work. She says, you better come home. The fire brigade are here. There's been a fire in the kitchen. I went home as quickly as I could. Luckily, I only live about 10 minutes up the road. There was the fire engine outside. I could still smell burning. The kitchen was an absolute black mess.
Oh.
Turns out that my wife had come in from shopping and there had been a special offer on for kitchen towels. She had bought about 5 or 6 packets of these things and there was nowhere to put them. So she put them on top of the cooker. She then decided to do cheese on toast for her midday snack. And of course, because it's paper, the heat coming from the grill set light to it. The whole lot went up.
Oh, no.
Wait for it. It cost £16,000 to have the kitchen repaired. Gets better. The kitchen had only been done 6 weeks beforehand.
Oh, my heavens. Oh, that's awful.
Isn't that dreadful?
Oh, that's awful. Oh, that makes mine seem very mild. I've never done anything like that. Touch wood. Totally. Touch wood.
And Adrian just come through from Basingstoke.
Oh.
He says, I melted my mum's false teeth. She left them on top of the grill and I didn't know they were there.
Oh, how lovely. Oh, gosh.
You had to put her on there.
Talk about getting your teeth into something.
I know, I can just imagine Adrian's mum. You know, they're not fitting very well. Don't remember being like this before.
Oh,
are you all right over there, mum?
Oh, they could all be warped, couldn't they?
Yes, trying to eat her dinner.
Can you imagine having your teeth upside down, so the top one's melted in the bottom part? Oh.
More potatoes, anybody? She's still on her first one, don't ask her.
But that kitchen. Oh,
yeah,
that sounds
just
awful.
had it done. Obviously, it'd been, fitted out.
Oh, my God.
You know, you get these people
terrible.
coming into all the units and what have you. So that makes 16,000.
Well, all I've lost is I've burnt frying pans, you know. I mean, I've done it regularly.
That's not so bad. Get them for half a book down the Green Shield, can't you?
Right.
You know.
I ought to buy a cast iron one, didn't I?
That'd be a good idea.
I'll probably get it for the set prior to that as well.
I was going to say, knowing you.
What I should have in the kitchen is a fire blanket.
No, I'm surprised you haven't got one.
Well, I've got a duvet, but it's not the same, is
No,
it?
that's not the same at all. No, that burns.
Oh, right.
You
okay.
definitely need a fire blanket. In fact, it might be a good idea to have several, Anne.
Several, yes.
Yeah, and whilst you're at it...
extinguisher.
An extinguisher as well. You know the big industrial size ones?
Right, okay.
I think so. Have them standing
you think
by.
it might bring the wall down, though, if I stick it on the wall?
Yeah, this is very true, isn't it?
Because you've got to be careful whether you have a foam one or a water one, haven't you? Because different things are, you know... Oh, dear.
You've got to have the right ones for the right thing, yes.
I'll just stick to the duvet and wallop it
I was
with
going
that.
to say, give it a clap, that'll be fine,
Yeah.
absolutely. And just watch out for the false teeth.
Oh, don't. Oh, thanks for a great programme.
Bless your heart.
You
Nice
take
to...
care of yourself, won't you?
Yeah, and you, my love. Have a lovely weekend.
And you, yes.
Take care.
Bye. God bless. Bye. Bye.
There's Ad from Thatcham. That's made my day, that is the false teeth. That is just so funny. It isn't. Yes, it is funny. Don't be boring. Yes, it is. It's brilliant. Some more coming through on the text, 07786 200 961. What have we got here? Oh, my goodness, got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. I do as many of them as I can. I've got the aftershave going up in flames. That one is done. Who's this one from? You know what this text is like, so just bear with me. It's real technology personified. Here we go. Rachel from Woolston. She says, "Hiya, Paul and team. Thanks for the programme. Pleasure. I once left some rice boiling on the hob with a wooden spoon in it, and then, well, I've forgotten went out. Some later I returned to find a burnt-out pot, black mass of fossilised rice, half the spoon, well, mainly the handle, to be honest with you. My neighbour 2 gardens along had to climb 2 fences, fearing, what was going on. He thought something was wrong and the house was on fire. And to make it even worse, he told me that he had done some serious damage to his manhood in the process of jumping over the fence." Rachel from Woolston, talk about do it in style. Good grief. Nick from Bournemouth says, "I remember when we took a trip to France and my dad was trying to figure out how to make the cooker work. He managed to blow the thing up and he burnt his fringe off in the process. It wasn't funny, but we certainly thought that it was. Sue says, Paul, I know someone who burnt microwave chips once. They came out black and smoking. Fair to say they were not to be eaten. And a lovely one here from Paul in Oxford. He says, when I worked at a company which I still dare not name, I wanted some toast. So I went off to the staff kitchen they had and put some bread in the toaster. Well, what I did not know was the settings were up high and the bread caught fire. Set the smoke alarms off for the whole office. Do you know what happened? 50 office staff were evacuated. The fire brigade came out as well. Needless to say, I did not own up to this day. They do not know it was me. It's Paul in Oxford. Nice one, Paul. Thank you very much for that one. And also Adam says, Paul, my mum's always setting things alight. The best one must have been there about 5 or 6 years ago. She bought some boil-in-the-bag food and she thought you'd put it in the oven. It was a genuine mistake, mind you. She wouldn't normally do this. So she took these boil-in-the-bag products out of the freezer, put them on a baking dish, still in the bag, in the oven it went. Well, after about 40 minutes, there was the most awful smell. When we looked in the cooker, obviously the plastic had melted. There was plastic everywhere. There was the food everywhere. It took us ages to sort it out. In fact, for days and days and days, we were still trying to clean that cooker. What have you set alight? I want to know. We're talking about things in the kitchen here. The text 07786 200 961 and the email paulmillershow@bbc.co.uk. Got some absolute corkers coming here and still a chance to get yours on as well. Now then, we were talking about those little moments when things in the kitchen tend to get a little bit overheated. In fact, very overheated, and before you know it, you've got smoke and goodness knows what. Lovely story that's come through here on the email. I won't name... Well, I will name this person, but I won't say where they come from for obvious reasons. This has come through from Jim. He's a fireman, lives somewhere in the area. He says, Paul, obviously what we do is very, very serious, but we do sometimes have a few chuckles ourselves at some of the incidents that we get called out to. I remember one about 5 or 6 years ago, a lady who called us out said her house was on fire. And when we got round to the house, sure enough, it was full of smoke. There was no fire. But what she had done is she had put one of those pre-prepared pizzas into the oven and she hadn't taken the wrapping off. It was still covered in this sort of like plastic stuff. The smell was unbelievable and the house was full of smoke. When we explained to her what she had done and told her that she should in fact have taken it out of the wrapping, she said she was going to write to the manufacturer and ask why they had never told her that in the first place. Rachel from Woolston says, not quite a fire, but I did have some interesting fun with a pizza once. During the meal, my husband remarked that it had rather a chewy base, this particular pizza. Well, I said it was okay. It was one of those crispy base ones, and that's it. So I went to the freezer to have a look, and I opened another one. You can imagine what I'd done, can't you? There was a polystyrene packing base that I'd left on there as well. The whole thing had been cooked together. Luckily, there weren't any belly aches. Everything seemed to be okay. And one also from Jonathan, who says, Paul, my mum sets things on fire in the kitchen quite frequently. She is known for it. I think the latest one was just a couple of weeks ago, hot cross buns. She'd had them for a couple of days. They'd gone a little bit hard, so she decided she would put them under the grill to toast them. Nothing wrong with that, you may see. No. Except she put them on and forgot about them because she was too busy ordering something online from a certain shopping channel. Next thing we knew, smoke everywhere, kitchen stank. In fact, our kitchen stinks of burning most of the time. It's something that she is well known for. Luckily, nothing serious has ever happened. And also, I'll do as many of these texts as I can, but I'm not going to be able to get through all of these. I've got loads and loads. Ella in Bicester. Hello, Ella. She says, Paul, once when I was young, I got some bread out of the freezer to defrost, which I should add was wrapped in tin foil. Imagine what I'm going to do, can't you? I put it in the microwave. Well, being young and stupid, I didn't know that you shouldn't do this. Sparks everywhere. Thankfully, there weren't any flames, but I can tell you it wasn't good, and I learnt my lesson. And Doug from Hythe, he says, not food as such, but one of my very earliest memories is of my brother putting nappies in the boiler and my dad pulling them out all ablaze. I think, Lena, that's what you call hot pants, isn't it? Hey. I think they are definitely hot pants. They are very, very hot pants. And who's this one from? I think the name is Royce. My apologies if I mispronounced that. Royce in Southampton says, I've always been one for liking things to be toasted, and I've always put it in the toaster. I like toasted sandwiches. I've got a toasty maker for that as well. But a couple of years ago when I first started going out with a particular girl, we spent some time at her house. We felt a bit peckish. I said, let's have a toasty. Well, they didn't have one of these electronic toasters, so I had to use the grill. Now, I was trying to impress her, obviously. I didn't like to tell her that I'd never used a grill. She would have thought that I was a bit naff. Turns out that I got the grill lit, no problem at all. I put the toasties underneath, but I didn't realise that I didn't realise I had the gas too high. She was upstairs doing something or other. The next thing I knew, there was smoke and there were flames underneath the grill. I panicked. I took the grill pan out. I then threw it into the sink and put water on it. There was smoke everywhere. And it turns out that I did some damage to the sink as well. It was like a sort of a plastic sink, and you shouldn't put things in there that are very, very hot. Fair to say that relationship didn't last too long, though it wasn't my fault. We just didn't get on. I've never understood having a plastic sink in the kitchen, because if you've got something that is a bit hot, surely that's going to be a problem, isn't it? Yeah, I think it probably is, actually. Couple more. Who's this one from? Hazel in Kent. Hello, Hazel. She says, Paul, several years back, I remember I put half a dozen eggs on to boil, ready for pickling. Well, I had a lay down as I wasn't feeling very well, but it was okay because my mum was keeping an eye on them. Oh, no, she wasn't. She was talking to a neighbour. I was woken up by explosions in the kitchen. The eggs were exploding like little bombs all over the place. Hazel from Kent, thank you for that one. And Doug from Hyde says, Paul, putting the pizza in the oven without taking the wrapper off, I did myself a few weeks ago. I smelt a strange smell coming and managed to rescue the pizza just in time. Just got it sorted out. And what else have we got? Oh, listen to this. Hi, Paul. My mum was playing bingo and she had a call from home saying, excuse me, madam, your kitchen's on fire. She said, OK, there's nothing that I can do before the fire brigade get there. So she carried on playing bingo and didn't go home until the end. Sort of thing my mother would do, that is, you know. Well, you know, can't the fire brigade deal with it? I'm halfway to winning a full house here. You never know. It's 25 to 1. Last chance to get through. 07786 200 961 for the text. Email paulmillerShow@bbc.co.uk. And if you needed reminding, you can always give us a ring on the old dog and bone as well. We'll do as many of these as we possibly can. But as I said a little while ago, suddenly the text and email in particular has gone absolutely mad. Lots and lots of burning stories to tell. But we're running out of time. It's coming up to 20 to 1. It's the Paul Miller Show from the BBC in the South. And we've been asking you about times when you've had a little hot experience in the kitchen, when something has caught fire, something has burnt and smouldered just ever so slightly. And Jim, the Asda driver, has just been in touch. He says, why is it that when I try to cook eggs in the microwave, they always explode? Well, funny you should say that, because Lena and I were just discussing this, and I was saying that my mother has this problem as well. We've got the little pots that just, you know, the egg cookers, I think they're called, that you put your egg in. You then put a little bit of water in the bottom, whatever you're supposed to do, and these are designed specifically for the eggs in the microwave. In it goes, turn it on, couple of minutes, bang! Stuff all over the place. Running down the side of the microwave, dripping from the top, you name it. Tried everything. Changing the amount of water you put in, changing the amount of time they're in, changing the heat setting. Just does not work. Just does not work at all. Did you say, Lena, you've tried to do it as well, and yours go bang? Or you just haven't bothered? Yours go bang as well. I think everybody's eggs go bang in the microwave, you know. I just don't think that it works. And when they do come out, they're also about this rubbery sort of horrible mess. Unless, of course, you know different. And if you do, I'm sure you'll let us know. Celia from Broadbridge Heath, Horsham. She says, Paul, you know, you think this is stupid, but it's true. We used to live abroad. It was a bit chilly, and I asked the maid to do my hot water bottle for me. She put it in the oven. Nice. You can imagine the smell, can't you, Oh, believe me, I can. Believe me, I can. Nice one, Celia. Lovely to hear from you. And also, who's this one come from? Having a long one here. Karen White, who is listening online in far north Queensland, Australia, says, well, I'm doing the boring housework again and hubby Johnny's mowing the lawn. We do live very predictable lives. Anyway, we're listening to the programme online. Couldn't get to the computer whilst you were discussing parties, so you won't hear about our son's 21st back in 2000, for which I was in the UK for, and how if the next day hadn't been a Sunday, I would have got locksmiths in to change the house locks so that I could throw the sun out. We will say no more. As for burning food, though, some years ago, about 1974-75, says Karen, my parents had a business in West Sussex, but our family home was in Hermitage near Newbury. Now, both parents were down at the business, and my brother, who is 5 years older than me, so we thought, I suppose I'd been about 19 and 24. We were in the Hermitage house. I worked in Newbury, he worked in London. So, one summer's evening, we decided to have a game of tennis whilst the food was cooking. I put a rolled neck of lamb in the Aga, that's a bit posh, and we went to the tennis courts in the garden. Yep, when we got back, the lamb was literally on fire. Fortunately, my mother had a little kitchen fire extinguisher on hand, so between us, we managed to put the fire out. And we got it sorted. The thing is, we had this cremated lamb. It was awful. Neck of lamb is, of course, very fatty joint. The billowing black smoke had filled the kitchen. It was very, very greasy. Paul, it was everywhere. It was all over the ceiling, the walls, the doors, the floor. Just about every item in the kitchen was coated with this greasy black film. Kitchen table and chairs, they weren't too bad to clean, but everything was dreadful. The thing that took the most time to cook was the Welsh dresser, which ran the length of one of the walls. It was laden with innumerable plates, bowls, cups and saucers. You can imagine. Yes, I can. And Karen says, it's fair to say I've been very nervous of cooking rolled neck of lamb ever since. Lovely story, thank you. And that's from Karen White, who's listening in far north Queensland, Australia. It's always nice to hear from you wherever you actually are. And, excuse me, and also Sarah in Bournemouth says, well, I remember when I was about 9, my mum left the chip pan on the cooker, and I kept looking at it thinking, it's getting hotter, and it's getting hotter. My mum had said she wouldn't be long, so I thought, well, I'm not going to touch it as she will be back. Nope. I went back to the kitchen. It was literally on fire. It was at this time the adverts on television were telling us how to put out a chip pan fire. Do you remember them? I do. So I turned off the gas, ran a tea towel under the tap and threw it over the chip pan. Needless to say, there was some damage to the ceiling, but not as much as there could have been. You know, Paul, those adverts really were a good thing. I think they should bring them back because they could save someone's life. Because I had obviously taken notice of it and knew what to do. Sarah from Bournemouth, I couldn't agree with you more. She says, Paul, thanks for a great show. Helps doing the old chemistry lab reports more bearable. It's very kind and nice to have you with us. And of course, they were those public service announcements, weren't they? And they were very, very, very good. I'm trying to think when they stopped doing them. About... It's early 80s they stopped the public service announcements. I can't remember. Because they used to run the BBC, didn't they? And then at the end of it, they would say, that was a public service announcement. And if you liked them, you can actually buy some of them now on DVD. A lot of them have been issued because there was such demand for them. But I thought they were very good. But I suppose in this modern sort of PC world we live in, people would say they were very, very, non-PC, and you shouldn't tell people to do those sorts of things, and it's, teaching your mother to suck eggs and blah, 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 blah. I suppose so. Thank you to Philip in Oxford, by the way, listening online. Nice to have you with us. Sent me a link here, which I haven't got enough time to actually read it out, but it's all about things that you can do in a microwave. This is what some people have actually done, and the things that happen. Some of it's quite amusing. Some of it is quite bizarre, actually. Yes. I'm not going to read any of these out in case anybody does them and get into trouble, but there are some things here, Philip, that I'm aware of, like putting a light bulb in a microwave, for example. Don't do it. I'm not tempting you to do it. But if you do put a light bulb in the microwave and switch it on, sometimes it lights up. But don't do it, because it can go wrong. But, yeah, it can happen. What have I got? Dee from Broadstairs says, Paul, great show tonight. Thank you. Pleasure. What have you managed to set alight? Do you know, I don't think I have. Excuse me. The only thing that I've ever done... Let me think. I mean, obviously toast. I mean, that happens all the time. Yeah, the only thing I've ever done wrong, I'm just thinking if there's anything else, was when I was at school. When I was at secondary school, back in the late 90s, we used to have to obviously do cooking. And it was what's up with this wire? For goodness sake. Lena, I'm all tangled. That's better. Why they have to be 50 foot long, I will never know. It's probably the unique way we're funded got something to do with it. No, I'm not being tied up, actually. Where was I? Oh, yeah, at school. And we were doing cooking. And one of the things that we had to cook was like a jam roly-poly type thing. And I liked cooking, and usually I did very well in my cookery lessons. I always used to get a B or something, apart from my Christmas pudding, which you gave me E for, because I'd forgotten to put the sugar in. Could have been worse. Anyway, we did this jam roly-poly, and when the teacher showed us what to do, you sort of make the pastry like whatever it is, roll it all out. You then put your jam inside and you roll the thing up. And there you go. She then told us to cut the ends off. No, she did. Yes, cut the ends off, make it nice and smooth, nice and straight, put it in the oven. Well, I didn't do this. I thought to myself, well, you know, I had quite a lot of lanky, saggy bits sticking out the end after I'd done me rolling. And I thought, if I cut that off, that's going to be a real waste. So rather than cutting the ends off, I decided to sort of fold them underneath and pat it down. I mean, I thought it looked fine. I didn't see a problem at all. In the oven it went. Well, you can imagine what you've got here. You've basically got jam in pastry that was all sealed up. So, of course, the pastry is cooking and the jam's getting hotter and hotter and it starts to bubble. And in the end, it just exploded. And it went everywhere. It was all over the cooker. The teacher, the cookery teacher at the time, was a lady called Mrs. Williams. She did not suffer fools gladly. And she used to have this expression where she would come over to you and she would open up her eyes and her eyeballs would appear to be coming out. Do you know what I mean? And she would screech. And, of course, I hadn't done as I was told. And I had to stay behind after school and clean the oven out. And then I had to clean all the baking tray and all the rest of it. And we used to have this scouring powder stuff that everybody had when they were at school. It's called Glitto. You know, it sounds real 70s, doesn't it? It was called Glitto and a blue thing. And there I was scrubbing this pan. But I think that's the only time that anything's ever sort of exploded when I've been doing my cooking. Have you ever had any disasters, Lena, that you're prepared to mention? Oh, no, she says, not me. I bet she... No, not me. Everything always goes perfectly to plan. Never a problem. Talking of the eggs, by the way, Dave from Southampton says if you pierce the eggs, i.e. the yolk, cook them slowly in the microwave, they should be okay. And Shirley rung through from Hayling as well and says put butter in the dish as well and only cook it for a minute and it'll be okay. We also had Kathy from Windsor said, try pricking the yolks when you do them in the microwave. Great show. Love the stories. Thank you, Kathy. And nice to hear from you. And also Julia from Wakering says, you've got to prick the yolk and the white. I only microwave them for egg mayonnaise sarnies as, getting soft and runny is impossible. But that is the way that I do it. Or maybe that is the way that I've been always doing wrong, not putting them in with the little yolks might have you pricked. So a bit like my jam roly-poly, you get a bit of heat and steam in there, and before you know it, bang, all over the place. And I'll tell you something, that's no yolk, you know. Paige from Reading says, Paul, can you please tell Lynn to sleep well? Tell her I'm thinking of her. And also Dominic from Essex says, thanks for playing this song. I was married to this song. It brought a little tear to my eye. We're still married, been 3 years now. Congratulations to you. And also hello to Brian, who is in Windsor. Just wants to say happy birthday to his wife, Doreen. It's her birthday today. Big kiss for you. And also Nicola in Winchester says, Paul, love your programme. Only recently discovered it. Can you say hello to my husband? His name is also Paul. We both enjoy the programme, though we do wish you would stop talking about food because we're both trying to diet. No, we don't do that on this programme. Andrew in Hove said had a really, really fabulous day today. Looking forward to a great weekend. Can you please say hello to Graham and Minnie the Mouse for us? And say looking forward to tomorrow night. They'll know what it means. Thank you for your programme. No problem. And also hi to Marion as well. Marion is in Dorchester. She says, I'm going to a wedding tomorrow afternoon. It is not going to be anyone that I'm close to. It's a friend of a friend. But you talking earlier on about parties that have gone wrong and wild parties have really made me think. I hope that it all goes well. If it does go wrong, I will blame you. Anyway, love the programme as always. Any chance for a mention? Yep, consider it done. And also, the lovely Lena is going to a 70s party tomorrow, she was just telling me. Woo! But she's going as a punk. Are you really? Well, you don't see, but what are you going to do with the hair? Have you got a wig or something? Or are you just going to sort of try and you're going to colour spray and big yours up a little bit? Yeah. So you were talking earlier on about how 70s stuff is coming back and 70s dresses are coming back into fashion for the ladies. And apparently espadrilles are making a big comeback as well. Watch this space. Watch this space. We are almost almost out of time. Oh, I think it's just as well. I'm going mad.